On my Nissan Quest, I have power right side sliding door, but no power left side sliding door. And I have power hatch. To get to those wires to control the opening and closing of them, the easiest way is going to be accessing the wire that's in this console here. Now, there are wires coming out of here that go down to the 8-pillar side, but it's really difficult to access those wires. So, of course, the approach is going to be the simplest way, not the most difficult. Inside here, you'll find 2 Phillips screws that you need to remove. I've done that already. And once you remove that, this whole console will come out. This connector is for these switches. So what I need to do is locate for the sliding door. It's going to be the gray wire for the right side, and for the hatch opening is going to be the green-red wire. Here I found the gray wire, which is for the passenger sliding door, and then the green-red wire is for the hatch release. And I have this probe connected to the green-red wire. Now, I did test it with a multimeter earlier. At rest, this wire gives you 12 volt. When you ground it, it will open the hatch. You ground it again, it will close the hatch. This gray wire here is at 5 volt. If you ground it, it will open the door. Ground it again, then it'll close the door. So here, as you can see, I ran my own wire, and I'm going to route this again in the headliner and down the A-pillar. But this time I can put this back in. So here are the 2 relays that I hooked up for the sliding door and the hatch. And the red wires you see there is for the constant 12, and the black wire is ground. The blue and green wire is the trigger wire for channel 3 and channel 5. And the gray wire you see there is the wire that I tapped into the overhead console. On this OBD2 connector, I've connected the bypass module. The blue wire here is the CAN high, the yellow wire here is CAN low. The CAN high wire is connected to the brown-red wire on the bypass module, and the yellow wire is connected to the brown-yellow wire on the bypass module. Let me show you the immobilizer connector that should be located next to the ignition. Now, I need to find the immobilizer data wire and the immobilizer clock wire. On this car, the data wire is brown and the clock wire is orange. If you look at the ignition switch, that mobilizer module is actually sitting right next to that key. But as you can see, I can't see anything here. So what you need to do is follow the wire coming down. And this was originally all taped up, and you couldn't see what wire's in there. But I took all the tape off, and here you'll find the brown and the orange wire. So these 2 here are what I need to connect to the bypass module. So this brown wire that you see is cut is the immobilizer data cable. And if you look at the install guide from iDataLink, it does show you that the immobilizer data cable do need to be cut. So you have to make sure you wire the correct wire to which side. And in this case, if you follow the wiring diagram, the white-red needs to go to the connector side. And on the other side of the wire is going to be the orange-black wire. And I've ran these 2 wires here, white-red and orange-black. Now we'll go ahead and plug the rest of the connectors onto the bypass module. Here's the data cable. So now you'll see it's flashing, is ready to be programmed for data mode or wired mode. And if you press this button here, it will toggle between the 2. I'm going to be using data mode, which is represented by 1 flash instead of 2 flashes. I'll hold it down to save this. So that's saved now. Now we'll program the key, the master key, into this bypass module. Put the key in the ignition. LED will come on and turn off. And that's it. Well, just when I thought it was all done, I tested the remote start and the car didn't start. All the dash gauges came on. The starter wire had no voltage coming out. And I probably spent the last hour scratching my head, and I even started pulling those wires, which I taped up earlier. Start pulling it out, testing it one by one, all the accessory wires, ignition wires, constant wires, the second starter relay. I tested everything. I just could not get the two starter wires to output any voltage at all. For a moment I thought it was going to be maybe a defective alarm module. Then I thought, could it be that the alarm module is not getting the tach signal? Keep in mind, I am using the data mode from the ALCA bypass module. And the ALCA do tell you that if you're using data mode, all the dotted lines on the left, including the tach wire, do not need to be connected. So I looked at the programming options on the Prestige alarm, and you see option number 5 for the tach input check. I did set it to dBi tach, and then I changed it to voltage. So the alarm module will sense the voltage before it cranks and after it cranks to compare, and then once it knows that there is a difference in the voltage, that's when it'll stop cranking. I set it to that. The remote start works now. So that tells me that the alarm module was not getting any tach signal from the bypass module, and I still don't know why. So for those of you who's watching this video and might be thinking about doing this type of install, it is gratifying to get it done and working, but do understand that if you encounter any problems, you do have to do quite a bit of troubleshooting to find out why. I mean, this type of setup is complex. If you run into any problems, you're going to have to get your multimeter and start probing and testing what you can. The difficulty is that with a bypass module in data mode, there's really nothing much you can test. The only thing is you can go by the LED that's on the bypass module. If you look at the installation guide, there is a section at the end to help you diagnose the status of the LED. When it's working and the alarm attempts to start the vehicle, that LED should be blinking green. So what I have here is my multimeter set to AC voltage measurement. The negative terminal, as you can see, is connected to the battery negative terminal, or you can connect it to chassis ground. The positive probe, the yellow wire you see there, is connected to one of the wire on the coil pack. Now, for this Nissan, with the wiring sheet, it tells you don't connect it to the red or black wire. So the only one left is going to be this gray one that I've connected. So right there, that's the gray with the red stripe. So what I'm going to do is start the car up, and then you'll see the AC voltage reading on this multimeter. And as you can see, it's measuring about 0.5 volt AC, or half a volt AC. And if I rev this, you'll see the voltage go up. At this point, you just need to tap the wire and run that wire into your vehicle and connect it to your remote start system. I've just finished cleaning up all the wires. The alarm module is right here. The bypass module is right here. I'm going to put this metal plate back on here. It's going to cover everything up. Nothing behind here. All the wiring is not near any of the moving parts. Let me show you the functionality of this remote start system. So in my hand on the right side I have a one-way remote. On the left side with LCD is a two-way remote. So let me first arm the system. It will lock the door and beep once. To disarm, press this button here on the right and it will beep twice and unlock the doors. I'm here on the passenger side, and this van comes with the power sliding passenger side, not the driver's side. So I hooked up the passenger sliding door to my option button here. If you want to close it, press the same button. To open the hatch, press the trunk release button 3 seconds. Press it again for 3 seconds and it'll close it. To remote start the vehicle, press the engine start button 2 times. Now if you want to get in the car and start driving, as you can see I still have my key here. I'll go ahead and put this in the ignition, turn it 2 times, and then press the brake pedal. Now the running of the vehicle has been disengaged from the remote start, and I can put it in gear and drive. And when I get to my destination, shut off the engine. Well, I hope you enjoy watching this installation video of a remote start system. Now if you want to learn more about it, don't forget to watch my other video I did for the installation of the Honda Odyssey right here. And in those videos I covered a bit more detail. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and subscribe. Thank you.